Mexican Thursday night.
Yeah, because I saw, because there's the
Yeah.
Board of Adjustments meeting that night. I'm Ron Carroll, owner of Emporium 406, where you'll find unique vintage and contemporary goods. Products like autographed celebrity memorabilia and framed vintage posters. We also have a magic shop, where you'll find the new children's book, Marvelous Marvin's Magical Moment. At Emporium 406, you'll also find a full line of made in Montana products and home decor. Items such as painted windows, barnwood and tin goods, fleece blankets, designer pillows, jewelry, small furniture, and so much more. Emporium 406 at 23 South Idaho Street, Dillon's premier Made in Montana gift store. I'm Ron Carroll, owner of Emporium 406, where you'll find unique vintage and contemporary goods. Products like autographed celebrity memorabilia and framed vintage posters. We also have a magic shop, where you'll find the new children's book, Marvelous Marvin's Magical Moment. At Emporium 406, you'll also find a full line of made in Montana products and home decor. Items such as painted windows, barnwood and tin goods, fleece blankets, designer pillows, jewelry, small furniture, and so much more. Emporium 406 at 23 South Idaho Street, Dillon's premier Made in Montana gift store.
August 25th.
Sorry, it's my fault.
Sorry.
That's okay. We'll just go ahead.
Take it out of my pad.
Do you get big bucks for this? Or just a bottle of Tums?
Not recording when nothing sounds at me. Does it look normal to you? Not
Well, looks normal.
this.
The lights are on.
Lights are on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you should be good to go.
yeah.
So with that being said, Tuesday, August 25th, 2020 at 7:05, we will call the zoning commission meeting to order here at the city of Dillon. I'll rise for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I heard that. I didn't hear it. So with that being said, we'll call the meeting to order, and we will just jump right to the guest speakers, if that's all right with everyone. So with that being said, Mr. Hazelbaker, introduce the guest, please.
Well, we have John and Dalton from iWork Software. They're out of Logan, Utah. They do community, they do software for communities for permitting, code enforcement, zoning, various things. And I know one of the things that's been talked about here is possible different permitting, zoning, code enforcement. And they've sort of been after me the last couple of years. And so I just thought this might be a good chance with the budget coming up, to see what they have and see if that'd be something that the council would be, and their zoning board would be interested in, and then also carry it over to the council.
And then before we start, this would be compatible with or the program?
That would be something they'd have to address.
Hello, John? Or do we have to unmute him?
Well, Dalton's not muted. I can see him.
Dalton? Hello?
Well, all right, and Jeremy, thanks for coming tonight. Mary Jo, thank you for coming. Mr. Hazelbaker, we always appreciate you being here. And Julie, budget cuts? We don't get a binder? Really?
Because you had
I assume that you already had a binder is what I'm... If you would like a new one, we could probably track one down for you.
That's okay, I don't want to put the city out there. No, they don't, like they used
Hello?
to.
John? Dalton?
No, because I swear back in the days in school, they were really like cardboard and everything. And there was weight to it.
feedback. Nick told me I didn't have to do anything special with the new system.
It's very
They're on the
troubling.
screen, but now they're not there.
Don't worry.
Yeah, there was that, but John Doble had something up there besides his name.
I asked him to turn on video. Both of them said they couldn't. Well, at least Dalton said he couldn't do video feed right now.
Well, I thought that John Doble was up on the screen, wasn't he?
I thought so.
More than just his name.
Just the microphone.
Good evening. Can you guys hear me? This is John.
Hey, John.
Yeah.
Yep, we can hear you.
We can't see you.
All right. Not sure what's going on. We're trying to. I'm talking about. He can't. He's talking as well, but I can't hear him either.
Okay, then we cannot see you.
Oh, there we go. Hold on. Okay.
Me now, John?
Perfect. Dalton, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I can hear Dalton. Can you guys hear Dalton now?
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. I was just messing around with my system, but you can all hear me now then, correct?
Yes.
Perfect. So I can go ahead and start sharing my screen. Oh, it says host disabled participant screen sharing. So if anything, I can just talk and answer any questions you guys may have. I can also turn on my audio. My video here, if I can figure out how to do that as well here.
Yep, there you are.
Can you guys see me now?
Yes. And you're outside. That's not fair.
Yep, I am. I actually was mowing my lawn, and then I stopped so I could come and attend the meeting with you guys. So, I did hear a question in regards to if we are compatible with your current system. What's the system that you are using today or currently?
Black.
Oh, there's Black Mountain.
Okay, is that your accounting / finance
Yes.
software?
Yes.
Perfect. So the only question I have there then is Black Mountain, does it have the ability to upload a CSV file or to accept on a file?
That I do not know. I assume they would, but to get in trouble for so many things.
Yeah, I was gonna say most accounting softwares that we've worked with in the past, that's what they have the capability of doing. So if it's something that you want to just check with Black Mountain, just to make sure that your accounting software can accept a CSV file, which is a basic Excel file.
CSD file?
CSV is in Victor.
Yes, and then V is in Violet.
Okay.
Yeah. And what I wanted to, since I don't have the ability to share my screen, one of the things that I wanted to talk to you just a little bit about and give you a little bit of a brief overview of who iWork Systems is you have me, Dalton, and John is our account executive there in Montana. And we have been in business since 2001, and our sole market focus is community development and public works software. And back in 2001, we were actually the first web-based system that offered what we did for local municipalities in order to be able to track their work orders and their permits and be able to track that information. One of the other things that we'd like to let you know is that our customers, we do have over 1,600 cities and counties across the U.S. that use us. And at Montana, we've got a number of them there. There's Lewiston, Belgrade, Big Fork, Bighorn County. And so one of the things that we had spoken about was that if you ever wanted any references, we'd be more than happy to give you their contact information because our system is a very transparent company. And if you're willing to take a step forward into the digital age with us, we want to make sure that you are covering all your bases and that you're comfortable taking that step forward. So that's something that we let all of our clients and prospective clients know. And the other things that are really going to help you that is included with the agreement that we've spoken about is not only can you access it from anywhere, but it's very configurable. The annual maintenance fees associated with our software never does increase from year to year. And it does include unlimited users, training, and support. So if there was anybody on the councilship that wanted to have access to it or ever wanted to run any reports, you guys would be able to add as many employees of the city to the system as you would like to be able to log in and access that information. So that's a brief overview of who iWork Systems is. What we have discussed is the ability to track your permits, your code enforcement cases, and then within that package is also the ability for citizens and contractors to apply for permits online, as well as submit code enforcement requests online too. So it's going to give you guys that ability to have a link on your website that's going to take contractors or citizens that are wanting to apply for permits that direction so that they would be able to receive those. It's also been a really big uptick in our software this year because of COVID-19 to help assist in the social distancing, giving them the ability to be able to communicate with you as a city, as well as apply for permits and anything else you'd like for them on that portal. So that's what we can discuss and what is included with iWork Systems. So through the system, they're going to be able to track their permits, code enforcement cases out in the field, as well as pulling any GIS data that we have from the county that you're going to be able to have all in our system to be able to manage everything that you guys have there. So that was a brief overview of what is included. I wasn't sure if there were any technical questions that the council has for us tonight or anything they were wondering about our system.
Mary Jo?
I do.
Go ahead, please.
Could you use the mic though, please?
It might not be.
If not, we have both right here.
Oh, yeah.
Each one's on.
These
Or
are,
Joe?
these are charged.
Those, and then you can just.
These actually feed better for
Then
Zoom, yes.
I knew that was gonna happen. I'll use this one. Hi, John and Dalton. My name is Mary Jo O'Rourke, and I represent Ward 4 on the council. I'm not on the zoning commission, which is who you are presenting to this evening. But I had a couple of questions. I looked at your website, and I actually know a couple of people that you folks represent. And I absolutely loved I just think that your whole company is just grand. And the different areas that you've gone into are just fabulous. You're just talking about a very narrow part of what you do. The gaining of permits and the tracking of permits is just a small sliver of what you do. But you're very clear on the website that you are not a compliance officer. That the cities have to be willing to have somebody do the compliance work. Is that true?
So you did just cut out right as soon as you said you are not a compliance, and then I lost you for a second. Could you just state that last portion of your sentence?
That you are not a compliance officer. That you can put out on the web and store on the cloud all the information that developers and builders need to gain permits, and then you can track them. But in terms of compliance, the city has to have somebody who's going to be doing that, correct?
Yes, as in by compliance officer, you're referring to a code enforcement / compliance officer, correct?
Correct.
All grass, rubbish.
Correct, yeah.
Yes, we host the data, we can pull in all of your legal language, which is your violations, so that they can track that information. Or yes, we are not an actual agency that you contract out to handle your compliance.
Right. The other part of that is, you know, the city does not have so many requests for, you know, either zoning compliance permits or you know, anything. They don't have such a huge volume that it's hard to track that or to take care of that part of it. It's more in the then tracking the compliance. Did the builder actually do what he said he was going to do? Do you have any suggestions for the city on how to take care of that piece of the puzzle?
So if you will just back up about 20 seconds, you guys froze once again on your end. I did catch the last part there, but yeah, if you'll just restate that, my apologies.
The city does not have the volume, like a huge volume of requests for building permits or zoning compliance certificates that's become unmanageable to look at those. More what the city has a problem with is trying to figure out when somebody does apply for a permit, have they turned in all the documents they need to turn in, number one. And number two, do they really end up doing what they say they're going to do? There's been a great number of zoning compliance certificates that were issued where then the builder does something very different than what he had purported he was going to do to the zoning commission. So do you have suggestions of how the city could take care of that piece of the puzzle?
So the way that we could help assist, as for what repercussions would be imposed upon the contractor, depending on what it was that they had reported that they were going to do and then did not do or did something different. What iWork Systems is going to allow you to do is if someone were to apply for something, it is going to keep a complete and total record of any communication that has happened between your permitting or code enforcement departments and said contractor. And when that information is applied for, you can ask for certain licenses and documented evidence of what it is that they're wanting to do. And then what you would be able to do is in the subsection on the application form that we have for you, that you'd be able to use through iWork Systems, you could label what the repercussions would be if the data is different that they had submitted as opposed to what they were actually doing on the actual job site. And then what it allows you to do is be able to document every single step of the way so that if anything contradicts one thing from another, you can then address that with the contractor. However you would handle that today. What are your steps today in doing that? If a builder does do something out of step, are you issuing a violation to them? What do they get in trouble for with that?
No. No, but yeah, that's kind of a problem. But that's the important thing that I think you said. What I think is the important part of it is that you are able to, right from the get-go, define what the building project is, and then document it all the way through. The missing component is the compliance officer, and to either confirm what you have documented and put those confirmations in place, or say that no, they haven't built, you know, there isn't a single-family house with a double-car garage. It's a duplex with no garage. You know, kind of those mistakes, those kinds
Oh,
of
okay.
things.
Yeah, so today, does the city of Dillon not have a compliance officer?
Yes, it's me, Todd.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Thank you for the information, and what a great company. Yeah.
All right, well, thank you. We appreciate the question.
Guys, this is Russ, currently chairman of the management, for us to look into not just the one aspect of zoning, but maybe also into the water as well. Just curious what your sales pitch would be on their water system management and billing.
Okay, yeah, absolutely, and that's what's neat about iWork Systems is you don't have to start with the whole system, such as an ERP system, as it is referred to. You can start with one portion, such as the community development side, and then add. And once you
I love Zoom. It's my life. I'm on it at least 4 times a week. No joke.
We just bumped up our, we just bumped up our Wi-Fi and it took care of all that stuff.
I upgraded to a new laptop and it resolved it for me
Yeah.
because I was cutting out a lot at the meetings.
I think it's the 5G. Because on our side, we connect to just the regular Wi-Fi City of Dillon, and we don't have nearly as bad as connecting to the 5G.
If you connect to the 2.5, ours too.
But, you know, I'm not IT, that's Nick's job.
Yeah.
He gets paid for it.
okay, they're reconnected.
We're back.
Oh, perfect. I was gonna say, my question was what water assets are you tracking today? Hydrants, the lines.
So can you hear me?
I don't know.
It's hard to say. Sometimes I can and sometimes it throws both ways.
If you talk, the yellow box should go around you.
Yeah. You just need a pointer.
Or you could use your little, docket, your little
I was gonna say, I got a
mailbox.
finger that works as a pointer when it comes to Zoom.
It would be nice though for the water system because we don't,
That's what I'm saying. I mean,
because fire hydrants, we know where they're at. We have a map that shows where they're at.
And we know that we flushed them off because they said so, but we don't have no regular maintenance
Yeah.
schedule.
They put all that together.
And that's what I'm saying, Mary Jo, because we just simply, it's here.
And
And
then,
it's time to let go of this and
and then also when you follow up with like hydro flushing,
yes.
all that's done basically by card.
And especially last Wednesday, Mary Jo made the comment, because I did watch via Facebook, thanks Jeremy, about interchanges being flooded. And it was just interesting, like going, where's the drain? Where's the drain? Because I was coming back through town about the same time you were saying that, and I'm like, interchange right there, washed on Walnut and Chestnut, left-hand side, huge puddle.
Yeah, see, that's one of the things that was the issue this last week. Hopefully the guys
I know we don't
got it
have much
resolved,
rain, but
because
yeah.
they're working on it today.
But that's what I'm saying, this has so many integral parts, I think, you know, like we could put together a package, a package,
This reminds me of,
a phenomenal database.
it's starting out like Quicken, and it's gonna turn into QuickBooks and
Because it's all interchangeable, yes.
Quicken Voice.
We're back. Can you guys hear us now? Okay.
Knock it off, John.
I was gonna say, on my end, I can see when your Wi-Fi connection starts getting low, it turns red. So right now you're white, so I think we're good to go. Now, my question was just the water assets. What would you be tracking in your water department?
Well, we were just talking about it is that maintenance on fire hydrants, we like to do once a year. When we do hydro flushing of sewer systems, it would allow us to keep track of when we do that. Then also with that, we need to keep track if we have any issues, any problems. And I think if your system would allow us to keep a record of that, because now what happens, we have to go back, pull files, pull cards. This is when we get it. So it isn't at our fingertips, I guess is the best way to describe it.
Gotcha. Yeah, everything that you just mentioned right there would be tracked in our infrastructure package, which is on our public works side. It does include a work order system that is then tied to those assets, such as your hydrants or your lines that you have to flush. And you can set up recurring maintenance schedules so that you don't even have to remember to do those. You can assign an employee, and then once a year or once a quarter, however often you're running those common day activities for your city, it is going to pop up on their dashboard as a reminder for them to go out and take care of that in the city therefore. So we can set up those in any regard, that not only to flushing lines and checking on hydrants once a year, but also to lots in the summer that need to be mowed and cut down, bushes that tend to get overgrown. It's a work order system that's going to be able to track everything that's coming in to the city and then going out to the different departments.
Another question for you, Dalton, and I know I'm going totally out of zoning, but how do you guys interact with FEMA? Because I know we have, the floodplain here is changing. We're going to have it the next 2 years, so we'll have a whole new floodplain. So do you guys bring in all the FEMA maps, or do we have to put those in if we were to go with that route as well?
So today, we can layer them within iWork systems. Now, how many FEMA layers would you have? Is there just one or two, or are there multiple?
2, that I'm aware of.
Okay, perfect. So what would happen is when that time came, maybe after 2 years if you had our system, or when we started up with the system, what we would do is we would layer that within iWork systems with a mapping section that you click on. And so on the zoning side, what we do is we actually get that information from the county assessor. On the public works side, so long as you have that GIS information, what you would be able to do is then layer it within iWork systems to be able to see and then manipulate as well. So keep in mind that on those GIS systems on that side, we're not only going to be able to show that different layer for your FEMA, but we're also going to be able to put your hydrants and locations of all your different sub-assets that you're tracking within the city. And then when FEMA does come through and you have to do that report, iWork Systems, our support team can build a report for you. It's going to include anything.
One of the things, since they are off, they have not mentioned is the price.
I know. And training for data entry, because obviously it's a lot of data. That initial setup is going to be time consuming.
It's $4,000 just for the zoning part,
Right.
or the permit part is what they.
Right.
And then it's $4,000 a year after that.
Is that, Todd, is that the community development part? Because it's in 3 main big parts, and then each, like, community development has about 3 or 4 modules within it.
Yes, and planning. The planning, yeah.
Yeah, with the permitting part, the code enforcement part, permits and zoning, the code enforcement.
Okay.
They quoted me $4,000. Actually, it was $6,000, but they would drop the setup fee, that type of stuff, down to $4,000. and then it'd be 4,000 a year after that. So somewhere along the line, we would have to come up with where we get the $4,000 from each year. Do they come from permitting, do they?
And then surely, is our current software and computers capable of using this program?
Yeah, and that's something we'd have to.
Because I mean, just like the police, Don always says, they are so far behind. I mean, I know they're not using Vista, but I mean, seriously, they have 10-year-old computers, and will our computer software program handle
We
it?
got fairly new computers.
Because we got Windows 10,
Seems
yeah.
like didn't we just update a couple of the computers?
Because that'd be a question too, because I mean, if we're not compatible,
And that's, yeah, just
Yeah, that's a
that's
good
what
question.
their hardware requirements are. And are each of those modules 4,000, or generally speaking, they start at one and then they go down as you
is there a discount for additional? Right.
add them?
And that might be something, but that's John's part of the presentation or discussion. And that might be something that he could,
He's truly the salesman.
yeah. And I'm probably sure he probably doesn't have those figures in his head tonight, but
I mean, just a ballpark, so we know if we're shooting for the moon with 10,000, we know it's not gonna happen. At least the next year. Unless we issue way more tickets.
raise the prices.
Well, depending on what they're using, we're paying for every month. If they do all that plus.
And then it would truly come down to the administration. I mean, do you really want to use all this additional step to put all this stuff in? Because truly it's going to be another step. If you give out paper products, someone has to put this in.
It's actually, it can be on the phone and they can be out
Well,
and
I'm
they
just saying-
hydro flush a thing. They see it, hydro flush the date.
Right, but I'm just, that side of the wall, sometimes we don't always get.
Well, and then they GIS and they will,
Yeah.
and you don't even have to put that in because they have.
Should we get
Right.
up on the Zoom? Can you call them on the phone, Todd, and tell
We'll just
them?
on the speakerphone
Or
and someone's phone,
Do you want them on that, or do you want them on?
because I'm cool with
Do
that.
you know their number? Or we could,
Somewhere in here. Let me see. Great. Okay.
Jeremy, we hear no voices. Are they talking? What are they doing at that meeting? Come on, give us some feedback.
is that what they're saying online?
No, I'm just joking. They are pondering Dylan's biggest decisions. Give them some time.
Dylan's Wi-Fi.
Oh, good default. It's the rain, it's the weather, it's the smoke.
Thank you for calling Highworks for support. Press 1
Or
for
put
sales,
them
press
in the
2.
computer when we go on Wi-Fi.
Oh, yeah, he's at home though, so that's good. Yeah, that's the iWorks.
It might fix some of the problem, just plug straight into it.
Yeah, they were calling from your office.
Yeah, outdoor office, yeah, must be nice.
Thank you for calling Highworks for support. Press 1 for sales, press 2.
He's like, back.
Welcome back, Dylan.
Bathroom break.
intermission, remember?
Intermission. Sorry, it wasn't bathroom break. Intermission was the.
So, did you hear everything that I had to say in regards to FEMA, or did it cut us off short?
Yes, we're good with FEMA. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Were there any other questions from the board then that you would like us to discuss with you while we have you here?
Those two questions. What are the hardware requirements?
Yeah, because truly, I guess this is probably going to go either to either one of you. What is the requirements for our end regarding hardware? Any major upgrades? Windows 10 is sufficient?
No, yep, you're good. Windows 10 is sufficient. Where you are Windows, I'm guessing that is it called Internet Explorer? Is that your
Yes.
Correct.
main browser? We do all of our beta testing through Google Chrome. So we just recommend that you run the system through Google Chrome. However, it does work on Internet Explorer as well. We just let everybody know that's where we do all of our testing. But it will work on any device, any laptop, Android, iPhone, tablet, iPad. You'll be able to use anything that you would like. So there's not really any hardware on your end, unless you want to get one of your building officials, such as Todd, a tablet to be able to use out in the field. Outside of that, it's going to be accessible from any device you have.
See, that would be nice, so that when the water guys go out, to have the computer with them,
Yes.
they could actually just put it in, they're done, this is what we did. And then it's filed. So,
Yep.
so that's the ideal, and in the ideal world, that would be the way to do it. Before they drop it into the sewer or whatever. That's ever happened.
Yeah, just get that extended warranty plan.
Yeah.
And then I guess the other question is, if you were to combine different packages, modules, is there a discount? Because I guess I'd like to hear the sales pitch, Mr. John. Please.
So, are you talking about modules on the water side as well?
Yes, so say we pick up those two, just for starting off, and then say down the road, we probably look maybe into FEMA or planning, just to see. So is there an incentive to accumulate more for a discount, or is it simply?
There always is now. The package that you're referring to is our more robust package on the public works side of things, which would be for the water and sewer. But yeah, if there's ever any time that we can get both sides, we do have pricing considerations, which we would be able to, I'd have to look at the two agreements on what we could do if it was something you guys were interested in. John and I could put that together and then send it to Todd and he can share it with you. That way you could review it and find out, yes, this is something that we would like to do, or maybe this is something that we're going to kick down the road a little bit. But John and I would be more than happy to put together a proposal for you and kind of put our best foot forward and what it would cost to get that side of things. Because in our infrastructure package, what you would get is you get a work order system that would then be tied in with the module of water management, sewer management, and then our work order system that ties into those two different assets comes with the signs and pavements management module as well. So that's how that is tied together on the back end. The work order system goes to those other sub-assets for water and sewer, and then pulls together, so you pretty much be getting 5 modules in one package for that to be able to do that. So that is what you have with that package.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is a permit management the only part that the city would realize by getting the module that Todd is talking about tonight?
Yes.
I think that there's some other ones that are tied in there.
That'd be another one. The water sewer would be one permit or one module, and then the zoning would be another module.
Right, that's it, because there's 5.
Well, I think there's
Todd, do you have any more questions?
Well, I guess, could we ask them to, from the discussion tonight, can we ask them if they want to put a package together? And they can email it to me and then I can share it with you. And then can it be discussed, bring it forth on the agenda for next Wednesday night's council meeting when you talk about the budget? Or do we?
I just think it's one of those things that truly, I think the more information, especially for council, I'd hate to make a recommendation that we're recommending.
Well, it's not right, well, okay, yeah, but it's recommendation.
Right, I guess I would really like to open this up to the council, because that gives me some more time to think some questions. Because truly, yes, I would like to see the 5 modules package, but I hate to jump on water people's toes. I
Well-
mean, I just don't want to infringe on other people's starting point. And see what Todd has.
The overall director of the water department, I think it's a good idea.
Awesome.
So no, I don't think you're stepping on anybody's toes.
Mary Jo, you have any other questions for him at this time?
How important is it that your city be willing to utilize the software? Like, do you need them to utilize it at the 50%, 80% rate, or to make it cost effective?
So, you barely cut out what you were asking. Is there a certain amount that you have to utilize the system? Is that what you were saying?
Yes, yes.
Oh, no, there isn't. So we have some users that use it probably 90 to 100% capacity, and then we have other users that use it maybe just at 15 to 20% capacity, depending on how often they interact with the software. So there's no requirement there. You can use it as much or as little, depending on how and who is using the program.
Great.
Who in Montana uses this system?
Okay.
So, John, who do you have there next to Dylan or around the area that uses this? I saw there Bighorn County. Was there anyone else?
I'll have to get back to from booth right next to you guys, but I can definitely look and get you over an email with some references on there, Todd.
Yeah, because the ones that I have here on the PowerPoint that we have, I don't know if I'm saying this right. Is it Glendive or Glendive?
Glendive.
Glendive. And then Lewiston and Belgrade are 3 of the ones that we have on the top of our list here.
Okay.
And then John can get you additional information as well to be able to see that, and he can send that right to Todd. So if there's anybody that you guys want to reach out to or see what they're using, especially.
Glendive's, I guess, would be compatible with the size of Dillon. Belgrade's a lot bigger. Lewistown, Lewistown would be also about the same.
And we've used stuff in there.
Yeah. So yeah, it was
Yeah.
good.
And so the members of the board are all aware, just so that you know, what I do at iWork Systems is cool. So I was going to say we're pretty familiar with the size of cities and making sure that we can help and assist in how you guys would see fit. So.
Anyone else have any other questions for John or Dalton? Well, I thank you guys for your time this evening and bearing through with us. Sometimes modern technology is not always the greatest. Just beat the heck out of it. But no, looking forward to seeing the packet that you sent to Todd, and then we'll definitely do a follow-up just to see what that works out to be. And then I'm going to encourage the board members that are not here to truly go online and look at your website and see what all you offer, because I think there's so much there that could be appreciated and utilized, especially for our community, because we're truly coming from an archaic brain experience. When you have folks that do a phenomenal job, but being a small town, it's like, hey, I told you it was leaking, it's leaking. We don't properly fill out the paper forms and do everything logistically. So I look forward to seeing that evaluation, send it to Todd. And I just want to again say thank you both for your time this evening.
All right, well, thank you all. We appreciate you guys having us.
Thank you, and I'm sure we'll be visiting soon.
Yes.
Okay. Thanks, guys. You have a great evening.
Then you come on my lawn when you're done.
I'll be that.
So with that being said, we will jump to the regular meeting at this time. We will go to B, review of and approval of the minutes of August 11th, 2020.
I move to approve.
So with that being said, all those in favor of approving the zoning commission minutes from August 11th, 2020, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Thank you. C, you had a good presentation on iWork, Todd. Thank you for setting that up. I do strongly recommend everyone go to iWork.com. It's a really user-friendly website. I mean, everything that's there is very user-friendly. And then we'll jump to D for the Director of Operations report, Mr. Hazelmaker.
I don't really have anything other than what's, as we go through the packet. One of the things that Russ made a good point, step back with the iWork stuff. A program like that, whether it's iWork or some other, I think would be very beneficial to keeping track of things. A lot of times what happens is we get complaints. I never see them sometimes. And the water department would get them, or the animal control may get them, I may get them, and then, so it's just like, one of the ideas would be, this would eliminate that. When it comes in, everybody, the heads of each department could look each morning, okay, or throughout the day, that type of thing. So it's not the paper, okay, we fill out the yellow paper, it goes up in this box. Okay, then we hope that somebody's gonna pick it up.
Oh, exactly, because I think we all have good intentions of passing it on and
Yeah,
everything else, but I truly think when you look at the contractor side and then the citizen side, I think it'd be nice as a central hub for everything.
and I think it would make it easier for people to do the fence projects. If I'm gonna do a fencing project, where do I go? Then go right to the city website. I can fill it out. I can send it in. I know that Bozeman does, and that's the only way, I think Bozeman's that's the only way they do it, is online.
All electronic.
Electronic, yeah. So it would open up a lot of possibilities that way. It would be a lot of education. But that would still, it wouldn't hurt. But again, though, I also understand the financial part of it's a major issue.
Mary Jo.
Todd, did you see in there somewhere where the iWork would handle complaints that go to different departments of the city?
Well, it would be part of their system. Is that it would go to, what I understand is if somebody put in a complaint, it was a water one, you could designate it to go to the water department, to everybody, or to me, or to animal control.
I find that really, that would be just exciting and just incredibly interesting. I'm gonna go back in tonight and look for that. I didn't see that, but I'm hoping that you're so good. I mean, I really hope that's true.
And it would, the idea, I think, it would speed things up.
Yeah.
Obviously, because a lot of times it comes, if it's for the street alley guys, the slip goes and sits back on their workbench or their work table as you come in the back. A lot of times I don't see them throughout the day, so they come in at the end of the workday ready to go home. And then it's like, oh man, okay. But they're on their way home. But if they had received it when it came in at 10 o'clock, maybe that's something that they can address through the day.
Right.
So I guess efficiency would be another thing that they would look at.
The other part of this was just what Mr. Dolan said. You know, document, document, document.
Exactly.
Yeah, an example, well, we had a situation with a flooded basement.
Again?
No, several months ago. And the guys had to go back and look at the hydro flushing records. Well, let's pull out the drawer. Okay, let's go back. Well, I think it was back in this year, that type of stuff. And if the system works as well as they say, that'd be one of those, okay, yeah, what's the address? Let's look it up. Okay, this is the incident history.
Versus pulling out that Rolodex.
Yeah. Okay, so,
A good question to put on the list is, do they either do or do they allow you to backtrack work orders into the system so that you have a history?
I would think so, because they have the generation of reports, and I would think if you actually put that stuff into the reports, even though it wasn't current, it would compile it.
yeah, that's a good question.
Historical data.
Yes.
Oh, Mr. Hazelbaker, how are we coming on our fence project and civil citation?
Tie the fence?
Any word?
No. I've not heard from him. It's a certified letter. I have not heard back from him.
Just curious.
And you still have native landscaping down on Chestnut.
They haven't dedicated. I think, well, we may go down and clean it up for him and charge him.
Because they were there last week.
That's something I just don't understand.
Yeah, there was 2 trucks in the driveway, and I was like, it's all native still.
Okay, think, yeah, I haven't been down there this week, so. Ms. Pam told me that she was gonna get it wet and pull it. So we gave it the benefit of the doubt, so, yeah. Thank you.
And no other issues throughout the metropolitan of Dillon, Montana?
Nope.
Awesome. Public comment will be taken after discussion of items E through H by the zoning commission, followed by final discussion by the zoning commission and final vote by the commission if necessary. So with that being said, we'll jump to E, applications for zoning compliance certificates for review.
Do not have any.
I was gonna say, there's none.
We're on
Oh, that's good. Public comment on those? All right. Update and discussion of potential potato settlement area zoning public hearing. Mr. Hazelbaker, I believe you're going to look into some different venues for us.
The only venue that I think would possibly work would be right here, to be honest with you, or Mr. Johnson's facility.
He does have a good speaker system, it's really good acoustics, I have to say, I've been in there.
But at that point, though, we're looking at him charging, and I don't think the city should be.
Does he want to sign it? A trade for a trade. So Shirley, City Hall is your best right here.
Yeah, I think so, but I'll address it and see if I can come up with a plan that. It isn't an issue for the board, for you guys, because you do enough spacing. It's for when the public comes in, and we could probably get maybe 10 people in here, public-wise. And I think there may be more interest in that, but probably not much more, but still we have to make it available for anybody who wants to come in.
Correct.
And then also, something I thought that, before we raced into a public hearing, is that in your packet I put the minutes from the first of the year And then also a copy of what we talked about is the proposed zoning.
Correct.
So I thought it might be a good idea to review that before we had any type of public hearing.
Correct.
So then everybody would have a chance. So when people started to come in and start talking about things, it's like, yeah. So that's why it's in the packet for review, and I now, I guess, suggest that we don't have a public hearing on September 8th, but we have it on September 22nd. And it also gives them more time with the harvest and various things right after Labor Day. That'll be our second meeting in
Okay.
So what are
September.
we going to, when we have our hearing, when we have our publication per hearing, we have to recommend, what recommendation are we going to have for the zone? You know what I mean?
So within the packet, I guess, do you want what was discussed in the original, well, it's what's in the packet?
I think originally we were going to advertise it as C2 or something, wasn't it, in the original,
Years ago.
yeah, years ago.
Okay, but one of the things, though, I know we keep talking about years ago, but we kept talking about
Right.
what happened years ago does not matter. We're moving forward. Yeah, we're moving forward
It turned
now.
out, the 6 months came on after the hearing.
Yeah.
But we still have to have a zone, are we doing the zone?
Oh, yeah, you do, yeah.
That's what I'm saying, what are we gonna do, because this agriculture bulk storage district is not a zone yet, so we can't say we're gonna make it a zone if this is
Correct.
not a zone.
And that's where I think it was one of those two things where we're going to do them simultaneously, or are we simply going to push through the recommendation to amend your zoning doc to include this, and then,
I think we ought to start, if we're gonna do this, if we're gonna do this zone, this new zone, I think we ought to go ahead and do this first. Let's go ahead and start getting it in the document and get it, once we get it approved, and then proceed with zoning, going with the potato cellar zoning,
So do them separate.
do them separate
so then surely your September 22nd would be the hearing for this.
for this.
Okay?
to
I
amend
think
the
that'd be
zoning
the
doc
best,
to
because if
include-
this don't fly,
Good point. Yeah,
So this would be for, to amend
okay.
the zoning doc to include
this-
chapter 17 dot,
well, and I
12
think the
through 14.
requirements to do the zoning is a whole lot less stringent than this document for. And so we get this done, and hopefully, this will probably take a couple of months to get done, and hopefully in a couple of months, things will be opened up, and we can open our door and invite everybody in, and have a big group hug and a hearing all at the same time.
I hope.
Well, I guess, because realistically, this is the only place we can have a hearing. I mean, I don't think the city, especially when the guy across the street is trying to get a variance here, and, you know, we're paying him money to do this and that, and I think we're best to have our meetings at the city hall where we're supposed to have them, and if the COVID don't allow us to have our meetings, and we'll just push them back until that we can have them here. Is my personal opinion. I mean, I don't know what the rest of the board feels, but having meetings, I don't,
Yeah, it's such an unknown.
right. And, you know, the potato cell has been unzoned since 1885. I don't think another year is gonna make too much difference. I mean, as much as we would like to get all the zoning done, but if we can't get the zoning done and have our hearings here and have the people feel comfortable coming to the hearings, then I think we need to put it off until we can have the people feel comfortable coming in.
Out of respect, yes.
Yeah.
I agree.
I mean, I feel comfortable coming in, and a lot of people I know would feel comfortable coming in, but I don't know if I can speak that to everybody, and then
So I would truly say we push forward recommendation of this, schedule a hearing, and take this step one. Because this has to have 2 hearings.
Yes.
It would be the zoning commission and then the city council's hearing.
So the hearing would be for the establishment of a new zone.
Correct.
Okay. We're not zoning anything,
No.
no particular area, nothing.
Because clearly, I
Establishes
guess
it.
that's on hold, because we truly do have, what, 1, 2, 3 areas still left,
Yes.
Yes.
I think.
Yeah, at least three.
Basically 3? Yeah. But this is the only one that we have hanging out there right now that we just need to let those folks down in the area know, and then also the owners down there know. Plus, I'd like to see it off the agenda. Mary Jo.
Yes, Mr. Chair. I don't usually do this, but I feel so strongly about this issue that I'm going to take my mask down. I think that, and I'm speaking on behalf and for the neighborhoods, the residential neighborhoods in Dillon, Montana. The potato cellar area needs to be zoned. And in lieu of not having it zoned, I think that all of the businesses there need to be made aware that they cannot make any changes or do anything without letting the city know. Because we keep kicking this can down the road. And I have pulled up the history on the potato cellar, and this is like the third time around for it.
Yes.
And I think that rather than get into that history, we should just march on and get the potato cellar area zoned. But my second point is that I beg you to please look at the ag bulk storage category. I don't know if any of you watched, within the last 2 weeks, the stories on Beirut, which had a bulk storage of dry fertilizer, and it went up for any number of reasons.
It didn't go up by itself, and I guarantee someone poured diesel fuel in it to help it.
Well, we don't know how, Raymond, you
Ammonium
can,
nitrate does not blow up.
we
without
do
diesel
not know
fuel.
how it blew up, but it blew up. And people whose home was within 4.5 miles of that storage facility were vaporized. And that means all of you were vaporized. All of your homes. I don't know if any of you had relatives or for some reason have some knowledge of what happened in Oklahoma City. And the van that was filled with a homegrown terrorist who backed up to the transportation, the U.S. Transportation office building, which included a daycare center, and vaporized over 100 people. So I beg of you, please look at that document, because I don't think that any of you are really interested in creating any kind of zoning classification whereby in the city of Dillon, we would allow for bulk storage of fertilizer or of any kind of herbicide or pesticide or any kind of chemicals. I don't think that there is a citizen in Dillon who would be willing to allow that kind of a zoning category to be enacted for the city of Dillon. So please look at that, because are you sure you want to hold a public hearing on whether it's a good idea that we have we enact a zoning category that allows for bulk storage of fertilizer? I mean, that seems to me like that's a moot point, that no one would do that. There is a city in Montana that allows for that. And I think that what it does is that it further kicks this issue of zoning the potato cellar area. It kicks it down the road again. And there is an answer to this dilemma of this little commercial area that is nestled between two major residential areas. There is an answer there. I'm not sure what that answer is, but I don't believe that it is creating a category whereby we can store fertilizer.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you. Mr. Graham?
I don't know where to start, that was so silly. In any given time in the course of the year, I'll bet you there is 100 times, there is 1,000 times more ammonium nitrate sitting on any one of these railroad tracks out here all night long, sometimes for a week on end. There is more than ample enough explosive to blow this whole town to hell. That and 50 gallons of diesel fuel in a well-placed cap. You wouldn't have to worry about what little bit of storage they put down there. So you're gonna say now the railroad is no longer allowed to transport ammonium nitrate through the city of Dillon, or through any place else for that matter. And as far as storage unit down there, I would venture to guess right now that there's 3 businesses in Dillon and there's well over a ton of that fertilizer inside the city limits right now, which don't sound like much, but I don't think the explosive you talked about in Oklahoma City was much more than a ton. I personally right now have 500 pounds of ammonium nitrate in bags, and I actually have about 200 gallons of diesel. I guess I could have fun if that's what you were worried about. That's a very silly reason for not having a, this ordinance is not going to invite us to have a bomb factory. We're not going to have the same issues with Beirut had, or we might have the same issues with Beirut had, I don't know about that. But if some homegrown terrorist wanted to go down and buy 1,000 pounds of thing and 50 gallons of diesel fuel or whatever the ratio is and dump it in there and put a 99-cent cap in it, or go out to Murdoch's and buy a can of that stuff, you shoot with your 223, which is plenty enough to ignite it. You ain't have to buy anything illegal to do that with. So just what you said about that fertilizer down there is, I don't know where you can come up with stuff like that, Mary Jo, I'm sorry, but that's so far-fetched out there that it's not even in human thoughts. Or maybe it is in human thoughts, I don't know. The people I know ain't thinking about how to blow up the city of Dillon. I don't know about the people you know. But
I don't think it was implied intentionally to blow up the city. I think accidents happen. And this is a situation that truly something may or may not happen. We don't know. But I truly think when you look at the zoning, it's one of those things because this is a unique piece because the third entity down there is county and city. And I think truly whether it be C2 or whether it be this ag district, it's one of these things that comes into play that yes, we're going to grandfather some folks in, as we use that term loosely in the city, but when it changes use, they got to comply to this new zone. And I truly felt that that was the intention of this zone, was to respect the folks that were there, but truly to put in safeguards so that if that place does sell, even though a lot of them have been the same family for 80 years, it just protects everyone. And I truly thought that's what the intention was of this district, was to simply curb what's there and protect the residents and the neighbors. But I don't think there's no intentions of anyone blowing anything up. Accidents happen, folks. Lord knows, come home my yard, I pull up a lawnmower at least every other year. And it's not on purpose, because Lord knows they're expensive.
And one of the things that's in this draft is the safety. You went through a lot of the different safety things that other communities use and pulled from them. Just all the different things that they have to do, the safety plans. Everything has to be clearly labeled, routinely inspected. So those, I guess, are safety protections that are out there. what I understand in Beirut, there was no, they do what they want. The Russians were coming in.
There was an accident in Beirut then.
So it's just sort of one of those, I think we have better precautionary things for in Dillon, Montana than they did.
But I also think we really need to zone stuff, because I think if not, it just leaves this matter out there where people can come and go as they please.
Oh, yeah.
And I think a lot of folks are truly Dillonites. They've been loyal to the community. They know to uphold common sense. But I think sometimes when you look at the zoning map, it is truly the task. I know a lot of folks don't want to be zoned, but truly it gives us all guidelines.
And if we don't zone it, that's an option, but as of now, if I wanted to bring in a bar or whatever, I can in that area. Or the slaughterhouse or whatever, so. This is a way, I guess, this is a step in the way in trying to protect the neighborhood, even though it may not appear that way. It is. And at least keeping it the way it is.
I always look at it out of the same standpoint, that truly here's the district, here's what we have in place. We hopefully to keep it in place or evolve it out over time. Because truly, especially when you look at your growth policy and all that other stuff, you'd really like to see that area evolve more into a residential area. You know, especially on the edge of the county. Because you can see the county expand, or the city expand.
And idealistic, it'd be great to see Mr. Graham's business just continue to grow to the point where he's about as far as he's going to go in that area.
Correct.
So
That's
then,
max.
so then he moves out into the county. So then that leaves that area open for different type of development, which would,
How many people do we want to have a housing development 10 feet away from railroad tracks?
At the same time, there's a nice water feature. Man,
well,
we all live in town. We hear the track, we hear the train, we hear the 720 every single morning. Come on. That's the thing about living in Montana. You're either going to be in a valley where you have the interstate, railroad tracks, or airplanes.
For what it's worth, early in my career, my father ran an elevator, and we had fertilizer. And there are rules and regulations about how you store it, where you store it, before you're ever given a permit to have that fertilizer on your property. And they came in and looked at it. Granted, this is Wyoming, I don't know what they do in Montana. But moving a big, there's also rules and regulations on how much you can store in the plot that you have to store it on. Meaning that if you are only given a permit to store 1,000 pounds, you can't store 1,500. And so I'm sure that that's all been worked out with those people down there. Because they've been there that long, I know they're aware of it.
So I truly guess at this time, it's either up to a recommendation to take this forward and truly test the waters with the hearing and see if the public says yay or nay and go from there, or simply just push it on the back burner. So I'm looking for direction from the commission, please.
I would move to go ahead with the hearing for agriculture bulk storage district.
I'll second it.
And that's as is. You're all
I think
comfortable with
as is,
this?
I think we've changed.
I think we only had a couple dimensions on some,
yeah, there was some
I recall, yes.
different things, yeah.
Because truly that'll give us a chance to choose, let this go publicly. And if the citizens of Dillon say yay, it's a go, and then we'll pass it on to the recommendation of the city. for their hearing, and if we simply come back and it's a no-go, then we know where we sit. But I believe, like Mary Jo said, I think we really need to just get some closure down there and get this place zoned. I mean, yeah, like I know it's going on 4 years. So that being said, all those in favor of approving the recommendation, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Todd, thank you for setting that up.
No problem. And one of the things I guess I'd like to see at the public hearing, if they don't like this, which that's one good thing about public hearings and why you have them, is to allow people to come in with different ideas.
Yes.
It's one thing to come in and say, I don't like it.
Yes.
But in this case, it'd be great if people would come in and say, okay, I don't like it because of this. Would this be a possibility?
And I truly feel
Would
that's
this
one thing
be-
with the zoning commission, we've always been over
Yeah.
the years. Whether we agree or disagree, we seem to always lean towards the citizens' suggestion or request in that aspect. So with that being said, we will jump to the update discussion of the Mountain View Home subdivision zoning designation.
Mr. Dolan and I just haven't had a
How do
chance
you
to work on that, so. Done by the letter, to prepare a letter to tell the homeowners. And we just haven't had a chance to visit about that.
So with
And
that-
it's on there so it is not forgotten.
Okay, so with all those in favor of simply tabling G at this time until we get the information back from Dolan, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Thank you for that update, Mr. Hazelbaker. Discussion of certificates of occupancy, change of use, home business, fence, and sign documents.
And again, in your package, you'll find some of my great artwork, computer skills at the
I love
best.
that. That's a great visual. I have to say.
I don't know, these just some ideas that threw out there. One of the things, there's a chart, a residential and commercial chart. These are just some things that I'm trying to make so that they're all on one page and make it easier for people to see, so you don't have to flip through. This is the document I'm talking about in particular. So that if I want to see what the lot standards are in residential, it's 5,000 square feet. And I know it's the same thing all the way across. Lot coverage, the maximum is 35%. R1, R2, R3, I can see it's 50%. List setbacks, and then also on the right side, it just gives you where to look for some of the different things. If you want to know about the corner lots, no advertising signs, those type of things. So that's just a document I threw out there. Then also I threw out, and I have a better one, I put in the, probably corrected one, but there's this one that shows all the, it shows everything that's in the book.
See, and that's actually, I kind of like that, everything's in one place, you don't have to flip from one page to the other to the next to find what you're looking for.
Yeah, that's why it makes it a lot easier to, for me anyway, and I was hoping it'd be easy for everybody else.
It needs a little bit of help in the lining up.
Oh, it does, yeah, and I've already fixed that. Yeah, no, I understand.
So which one are you talking about, Todd?
This one.
Oh, and it's several pages long.
Yeah, it's about 5, 6, 7 pages long.
So that's nice to be able to look in there what you got and you can know where you're gonna put it or.
And then also I stole from Billings. I'm still kind of working on this one. The yard requirements, commercial, industrial, which is this one. What I'm thinking about on this one is like same type, same format, but at the bottom where it says A, what the front setback is, I would put 25 feet. I would take out the arterial setback since we don't have that. Side setback to the street. I would put in the information along there, put in the actual
Correct.
25 feet, 10 feet. Detached accessory structure setback. that would have to be a little more clarification because the sheds are 5 feet. But then if you're putting in the actual accessory building, it's 10. Then something too that I think a lot of people we struggle with, the clear vision triangle.
Yes.
Something that I guess I've never really looked at and I need to is the alleys,
Yes.
fences with alleys.
Especially when you get that back fence being 6 foot.
Yeah,
You know, you're coming out of that, you don't see that coming traffic, and if it's a busy, I'll take down my neck of the woods, coming out of the center block of Kentucky or Barnett, right onto the back way there. Jay put up a fence, and it's like you have to truly creep out to see what's coming. And I think it's just because it's been one of those things we haven't really looked at, saying with all the vehicles that truly parked on the alley. But I would think with the residential one, I'd really like to see that notation of where the side setback starts, because it seems that's always our biggest debate on where that fence starts.
yes. What's the front of the house, what's,
Yes. Because that seems to be our biggest dilemma on that one. So with that being said, Mr. Hazelbaker, these are great examples. So to make them part of the document, then these become more or less like, I can't say, I guess they'd be truly Appendix 3. I mean, so eventually it would become part of the doc, because truly we have illustrations in one, and then we have the applications. See, I guess we truly have to start just tweaking these so that they become an integral part of the zoning doc, so all your time and labor hasn't been going in the garbage can. I mean, there's that attention in the commission. I sometimes think visuals are better than text,
They are.
because you get so lost in translation.
because every time I'm trying to explain people,
Well, it's not.
trying to explain people and then it's like,
And then, because this way you can actually take it down and say, your house sits right there, see?
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it just makes life simpler to me.
Yeah, because I've seen times we haven't even had this much information in the zoning permit. That would be a nice thing if they just filled in the blank.
No?
You know what I mean? They could almost say my house is this big and this.
Because clearly site triangle seems to be an issue more and more
Yeah.
citizens complaints,
But
whether it be
I thought site
shrubs or whatever have you.
was required on alleys in our zoning document already.
Yeah, they are.
We added it, that was one of the last updates we
Right,
did 2
because I
years
remember-
ago.
The last fence I did, we were talking about this, and I got a lot of complaints from the guy I was doing the fence with, and I went down and measured. I said, you know, if this passes, you would have to move your fence, and it was basically move the post in about a foot and make the kitty corner out of it so you could see around it. It really wasn't that big of a deal,
Right.
you know, if you did the measurements and everything. I mean, it was,
But, okay, to play the devil's advocate or whatever the right term is, okay, people start angling their yards and alleys, they get take care of, why should I take care of that property that's on the other side of my fence?
Exactly, I don't see it, I don't water it, I don't mow it. The
Yeah.
other neighbor does though.
Yeah, see, and that's just one of the concerns I have is that, well, the city just told me that I have to put my fence here. The city can take,
they're not taking care of the alley anyway, so.
It's just like the folks that have boulevards and trees in the boulevards.
Right.
Same thing, some
Well,
folks don't think they have to mow it, it's like, well, if that's the case, do let native landscaping, bring some rock or something. But a lot of folks will sit and debate, that's the city's property.
yeah,
See, I always thought, and I thought it was.
I just spoke to a gal down the street, yeah, about the
That
same
you're
situation.
responsible from the center of the alley to the center of the street for weed eating.
yeah, from the center of the alley to your property line, you are responsible for that, yes.
And sometimes it's just common courtesy, folks.
Well, I don't think anybody remembers that. Like I said, I get a half dozen complaints. I know last year I just took my weed eater and went down and weeded the alleys myself. This year I come and mentioned it. I don't know, I need to drive down and see it, or I get my weed eater out and do it again. I mean, what do you do? I mean, I don't know why people don't. I don't know. That's one of my pet peeves that go back to when you're plowing snow. Why would you drive past the sidewalk with your snow plow and not plow the snow? Why, when you're mowing the grass, why wouldn't you go down to the alley and mow this side and try to mow this side on your way back? Especially if most people have riding lawnmowers. They're gonna drive the lawnmower back that way anyway.
No, it's 2 gears, left and right foot.
They're still gonna try to walk the lawnmower back down the alley. But anyway.
And another thing, real quickly, we talked about last meeting, and then also it's in the packages. I had certificate of occupancy, I think, last meeting, changed it to certificate of compliance. That's going in the garbage. Because Russ reached out to a gentleman at the state, and he responded with, we shouldn't be doing it. What, could we got one?
Well, I think I have one. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So much I just gotta let you know about handing out handouts.
And basically, right off the bat, the first question, if the community does not have a building codes program, cannot issue a building occupancy certificate. So we do not have a building code, we don't have a building code program. So I ain't issuing nothing.
That's just a big liability factor.
Yeah.
But I truly think it gives you direction though when you look at positions within the city and for budgets and going forward, that you know if you have this person, you know, but at the same time, do we have $45,000 to $65,000 a year?
Okay, you get one that cheap.
But I think it's just, it's like, yes, it was good answers to me, but at the same time, it's like food for thought, folks, going forward. You know, one of these days, we're gonna have to go there. And I see that you retweaked the home occupation applicant.
Yeah, I put the bottom, well, application, fee paid, receipt number at the bottom. Then also on the bottom of each one, the conditional use and the accessory use. I put another signature line,
Gotcha, yes,
just so that everybody's aware of.
yes. Because either good signature or at least your initials, one of the two,
Yeah, I'm happy with the signature.
yes.
Because I think we're gonna see more and more home businesses. Just with the,
I don't know if you're gonna see, I think you're gonna see to a degree, but I also think you're gonna see folks just working from home, period, with COVID. I mean, look at Google, all of them are out for at least 2 years now working from
So
home.
if you're working from home, does that require a home use permit?
no, I don't say no.
I mean, it's a home-
But I'm just saying you're gonna see more activity at home.
Well,
I mean, I don't think it does, but that was,
Yeah.
that was something you brought up actually with, you know,
Home
we're talking
office.
about, because he's using his home for an office, but he's selling out on the street, and you said, does he have a home occupancy permit? Because he's not really doing anything at his house that me working for Google would do at my house. I'm using my house for an office.
See, and that's true, they're gonna open a laptop, here, this is my business, I'm not advertising, I'm not doing hitting the streets, I'm not doing local ads. This is stuff all coming from India.
yeah, yeah, I have no idea what your job is or whatever. But if you're a photographer,
Which is local advertisement, which is people coming to your house, I mean, we're not Mrs. Sato, I mean, Lord knows, Phil, look up, I mean, but that was a commercial building. Bridenstine, same thing, he was a commercial, even up there on the campus.
yeah.
But I think anytime you start advertising either your front door or something as your business, that is indeed a home business, folks. Mine is truly right here, 90% of the time. Forms and everything is now all electronic. So I have a mobile office, you know, right up there. Has great AC. So with that being said, Mr. Hazelbaker, are you looking for direction or evaluation of the commission to
Well, let me-
approve these, to give you recommendation for a public hearing to amend these to the local zoning docs.
Public hearing.
And again, it's in addition to the zoning, you gotta.
Yeah, it would be. Because, well, let me put a packet together.
Well, these really in addition to the zoning though. These are just
But it's
administrative.
right, but still it's a change. Anytime we do a change to the doc, we have to have a public hearing.
I guess if we put them in there, right, it'll be a change.
Well, let me put a packet together and
Okay.
with a little better drawings probably.
Well, when we're doing that, let's have our zoning application, the zoning permit application. Let's make a change to that.
Okay, that's fine.
On the bottom of the thing, this application expires 1 year from date of issuance, period. Not if construction begins 1 year from date of issuance. Because we already have in our fee schedule a renewal of your permit.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because how many times have we had, the board has had someone come in, I mean, Mr. McKiser, 10 years later, I put coatings in my thing. So that means my permit's still good?
Yeah.
I thought if you can't complete your house within a year, then come back to the zoning board and say, you know, it took me longer than I expected, I need another whatever, but.
Okay, that's good. No, that's a good point.
And see, I think that's one of the things with the software program, it's like, you know, obviously you can,
You can track that, yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit, it's not fair, you get to come, or they don't ever tell you when they're done anyway. But it
Because
would-
truly, if that's the case, then I would say, you know, let's just tweak these, everyone go home, and any comments, please bring them back by next 2 weeks.
Or email.
Back, or email
Email
to
me
Todd
with
for
them.
any changes, and then truly we'll see the final copy. And,
Do you want to hurt my feelings?
no. Because truly the last thing we passed through was tattoos.
Yes. And with the approval of minutes tonight, try to get that into the agenda for the council next Wednesday night.
Oh, speaking of agendas, we had a set of meeting minutes at our last meeting that I pulled out of the thing because I don't think we ever did come back and approve. You remember what week that was?
Well, there was the one that I missed the back page.
Right, and I don't.
We
think-
approved that one.
Yeah, we did that last meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one got
Came
approved.
through last
Did we?
time. Yes,
Okay,
because we approved 4,
3.
3, sorry.
okay. Well, then, see, I didn't remember approving that one and I couldn't find it in the minutes where we approved it, so I pulled that one and we didn't approve out.
And then clearly tonight, we approved the minutes to make the recommendation going forward of the tattoos.
Okay, well, maybe put that one back in there and I'll shut up when it comes in there. I just couldn't see it in the minutes where we approved it when I was reading through the minutes, but I might have missed them. You know, I had 3 pages or 3 weeks worth of minutes to read.
So at this time, I will open a public discussion on H. Okay, so with that being said, truly, any applications, changes, please get those submitted back to Todd so we can get a final draft. So we can schedule a hearing with the changes. And while we're speaking about that, thank you for the, I find this hard to believe. That's all. You know, I mean, even back to back, it's like, that's all?
I'm also,
And then truly, with this being said, you do have copies for the Board of Adjustments as well.
yeah, I'll have their,
So we're all on the same page?
I'll have them Thursday night.
Same copy, same
And then-
version?
yeah. I'll have
Okay.
them Thursday night and then also planning board, which will be next Thursday. I'll have it for them that night as well.
And do you have a new copy for the city council books?
Yes. And then would you include a cover page, please, that just notes, say, August or September 2020, the board members on all the boards that were using this, so that way we know that this was, because a lot of times we have when they were
Oh, okay.
adopted in the back, that just gives us a timestamp, so hey, everyone was presented this September, how come you didn't know? Please.
But I agree with Raymond that the city council books need to be updated
Yeah, my city
because that's
council
what
book
goes
is
on to the
really-
next person.
Yes.
The other parts you keep to yourself. Your-
Correct.
Your zoning commission notes, your zoning commission minutes, but your planning, your city council book goes on to the next.
So what is all in the council?
There will be 8 books for the council.
But okay, you have this one. So you want all the
Yes.
codes?
Because, well, I'm just asking on
I don't
behalf
know
of
about
us,
those just as
that surely Board of Adjustments get this copy,
Yeah.
and that the council members get this copy, so at least zoning wise,
Okay.
we're covered.
Okay, I was thinking there'd be additional documents for the council.
No, just
Okay, just
one.
they need to swap it out.
Okay, I don't
So the
know.
next meeting,
Right, so at least everyone is current on the same zoning, so we're all talking the same
yeah.
issues. Yes.
I'll end up with 2, but I'll put one in my zoning book, so when I turn it in again, you don't have an updated copy. And I don't know, have we got, I guess, it's not the right time to talk about it. We haven't passed too many new, as far as the book itself. I think it's fairly up to date, isn't it?
Well, the different committees are going through each,
Right. So we'll have a new one
So-
before long anyway.
yeah, because I think, I want to say on chapter 13, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Okay, no, I'm glad you mentioned the council. I forgot, Dad.
Well, and I don't know.
What did you think about you guys?
Yeah, well, I don't know how many of the council people really want one, I guess, right now, but eventually they'll have to have it,
Yeah.
so.
But we're on the same page then, that way we all know. It's like folks who do proof tattoos, come on.
Yeah.
So with that being said, it looks like I'm up to I, public comment of items of significant public interest, not on the agenda and within the jurisdiction of the zoning commission. And I would just like to say, first off, thank you for those folks respecting me for wearing a mask. Y'all don't know, I was in the hospital a couple weeks ago, and Lord knows with the smoke, thank God I'm not a smoker. Because I can't tell you, it's like, yes, it was cut out, and I'm like going, the pain that's in here, and I'm like, I don't know how these folks do it, more power to you. But I just want to say thank you for the folks here that are wearing a mask and respecting us for our choice. I appreciate that, because I know that's a touchy subject, especially when we only have one active case. I know. So with that being said, anyone have any public comments at this time, please?
I had a gentleman come in this afternoon, love about my job sometimes. It was about 4:45, wanted to know if he could get a zoning application turned in for tonight's meeting. It's like, no. Well, why not? I said, well, I have to have it 2 days, and they know better. And so, would you be willing to have a special meeting next week?
No.
I'm just asking.
It's Labor Day. Sorry, that
Okay.
weekend's off.
No, that's fine. I
So
just-
It's a crazy week for me personally, I'm sorry.
Okay, no, that's fine, I told him that I would ask the board if they would be
I'd be
willing.
more open to if it wasn't Labor Day weekend, the kids going back to school and me teaching again, and I just think we gotta be consistent to
Okay.
everyone.
No, I told him that I would ask. Off the record, I agree with you.
Unfortunately, that's why we have agendas and we gotta post them. It's the way it is. So we don't have things being handed out to us at a meeting. Even though you can go and scan this and send it to me PDF really fast so I get it in Zoom. So with that being said, I just want to say, Jeremy, thank you. It's always a pleasure to have you here. Thanks everyone else for being here, administration. Mary Jo, thanks for being on the public's behalf. Sometimes it's great to hear that perspective because sometimes I think we forget, even though we're all public, it's sometimes when you have to wear the hats we have to wear, we don't always look at it from that standpoint. So with that being said, Mr. Hazelbaker, it looks like the next meeting is
September 8th.
7 o'clock. I look forward to seeing y'all here. Move to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
All those in favor say aye.